The Jordanian hope, and maybe even the Israeli at the time, was for it to lead to a comprehensive solution at the level of the region and sustainable peace and all of this. Unfortunately, none of this materialized. So yes, today we're at the kind of lowest level of in the relationship that has been since signing the peace treaty.
Is the peace treaty at risk?
Well, the peace treaty can go into a deep freeze mode, and therefore it's definitely at risk.
My vision presents a win-win opportunity for both sides, a realistic two-state solution that resolves the risk of Palestinian statehood to Israel's security.
I mean, Palestinian grievances here in this country of Jordan are domestic issues, aren't they? Are you concerned that there is a price to pay for not supporting that deal by facing economic pressure from the US, which of course provides Jordan with billions of dollars in economic aid?
Jordan's relationship with the US are deep, historic, and strategic. And they've been such with all US administrations, the US House and the US Senate and the US people. We are not worried that that strategic relationship will be affected.
Did the US discuss with you the details of this plan, which, by the way, includes some very specific projects that Jordan would benefit from?
None of the elements of this were discussed with Jordan prior to its announcement, and we never will mix the political aspirations with financial deals.
You face a tough task balancing international donors, a frustrated population. Jordan's debt to GDP ratio is just under 100%, an unemployment rate of just under 20%. That's the highest in 25 years. You say you have a plan. So what is it?
What we have is a 5-year plan that would put our economy on a sustainable path, given everything that we've inherited. By the way, what got us into this very bad situation to begin with, the closure of borders, the refugee crisis, the aftermath of the Arab Spring.
Or was it mismanagement and corruption of the economy that's got it into this mess?
That is a legitimate question. We have created all the necessary institutions and given them all the independence to look into corruption cases and fight them. But if you look, sheer number, the cost of the interruption of the Egyptian gas, the cost of absorbing 1.3 million Syrian refugees, that's 20% of Jordan's population. Can you imagine a country that absorbs 20% of its population overnight and stays, solvent? What we worry about is people are impatient, and we understand why they are impatient, because it's been 10 years since the economic slump after the Syrian refugees and the whole regional situation. And unemployment is up, unemployment among youth is up, and it's very hard to convince a young, educated, creative young man or woman to say, well, can you wait another 4 or 5 years?
What happens with the economy will have an effect on Jordan's security and stability. And its stability is important to Israel and around this region to many of America's allies. How concerned, sir, are you?
We live in a troubled neighborhood. And we've been at the receiving end of this trouble since day one. And Jordan has become extremely resilient, both politically and economically. It's not a coincidence that we've seen countries 10 times the size of Jordan and 10 times the economy of Jordan collapse and turn into failed states, unfortunately. Jordan did not. The reason is there is a certain, I'd say, political culture that has developed in Jordan, where the population is united in many, many ways. We agree, we disagree, but there is unity behind the Hashemite rule in this country.
Too many plans tried to pressure Israel to withdraw from vital territory like the Jordan Valley. But you, Mr. President, you recognize that Israel must have sovereignty in the Jordan Valley. You are recognizing Israel's sovereignty over all the Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria, large and small alike.
Critics of the Donald Trump Middle East plan for peace, who sympathise with Jordan's position, say that this is a plan that provides an existential threat to Jordan. And we know there is rhetoric from the Israeli right, which has been alluding to an eventual population transfer of Palestinians to Jordan. Jordan is Palestine, goes the saying from them. Can you comment on that?
We don't support or agree with, of course, these statements about Jordan is Palestine or the transfer. These are extremely dangerous, and not just for Jordan. They're dangerous for the whole region. They're for the stability, etc. So it's really playing with fire in a region that's already in a tumultuous situation. So it's pushing things in the wrong direction, and we cannot be but totally opposed.